Richard Gladwell here for Sail World. We're here with Glenn Ashby. How did it go today, Glenn?
Yeah, look, it was a pretty interesting day today, Richard. There was certainly some really quite big puffs coming through today, and certainly made the bear away from the upwind to the downwind quite interesting at times. So, it was pretty shifty, but I think in general a little bit less shifty than it was yesterday. And we had some fantastic racing, and would have seen probably some of the top end speeds for the regatta today, and a lot of fun downwind. You had to sort of commit pretty hard to standing on the back of the bus at times, but fantastic to not break anything today for me. And unfortunately, a couple of the other boys had a couple of issues today, which was unfortunate. But fantastic yachting, and I think today really showcased how fast and how well the A class are sailing at the moment.
So, what were your placings today?
I had a second and a first today, so with the drop race now, I'm back in the lead again of the regatta.
What was the issues out there today? Was it just sort of purely and simply boat handling and who could go the quickest in the breeze, or what?
Look, I think a lot of the there's definitely a lot of boat handling needed today in those windy conditions, but the boat speed was really an important part of today, and we spent a lot of our training group today spent a lot of time setting up our boats this morning for the stronger conditions, and I think that certainly paid dividends.
What sort of wind speeds were you seeing there?
Yeah, look, I think today was probably between sort of 15 and 22 knots, so the gust just a little bit over 20 knots, so coming into the top mark, if you were slightly overstood, the boats just accelerate so much or so quickly, and the lift that we're generating off the foils with the lower centre of effort, the side load on the boards just goes through the roof, and it's actually really, really difficult to keep the boat in the water and sailing accurately. So I'm sure there'll be some good photos from today of guys coming in a little bit overlaid.
Yeah. So what was what sort of wind speed are these boats redlining in?
Yeah, look, I think the class limit's 22 knots, and much more than 22 knots you start to struggle. Anything more than 25 knots and you're almost surviving around the track, but up to 22 knots and even to 23 knots you can still race the boats full noise.
And how does this relate to AC-72 sailing and the sort of techniques and everything else you use there?
Yeah, look, I mean, a lot of the same skills you use on the A class you use on the AC-72 and vice versa. Sailing the boat fast and hard, basically, unloads the rig and makes the boat a little bit easier to sail. So it's very much a similar sort of thing. Same as sailboarding, same as skiff sailing. It makes a huge difference if you can unload the rig downwind and keep the boat sailing accurately.
So how do these sort of results look for Team New Zealand?
Yeah, look, I think it's it's fantastic for Team New Zealand. We've got a couple of young guys obviously coming through that are at the top of their game, and myself and Ray Davies are chipping away a slightly older generation, and Ray's just doing extremely well. He hasn't done a lot of A class sailing either, and he's finishing in the top 5. So he's sailing very well. Come from a dinghy background, and revelling in the A class sailing. And I think at the end of the day, we're hoping that we've got a fantastic team going forward for Team New Zealand, and from all accounts, sort of thus far, sailing the A class, which is really sort of a technologically advanced small boat. It's certainly great fun to see those guys really taking it on and enjoying the developments of the class, and also getting out there and pushing the boats hard.
So can you just you've been sailing these for quite a while. Can you go back and just sort of relate what the technology was like when you started compared to what it is now?
Yeah, look, I started sailing A class in 1996, I think it was, and basically the boats back then, we were sailing what was called a Mark IV, and they were very sort of tall, skinny hulls, aluminium beams. The carbon mast had just sort of come in then, and straight dagger boards, quite wide, and straight rudders, no elevators or anything like that, and basically the boats were very, very difficult to sail downwind because they were so fine and narrow. But as the time has gone on, the boats have got sort of bigger and bigger and more powerful, and the hulls have got more powerful, and obviously with the introduction of sort of lifting foils and elevators, the boats are now sort of clearing the surface of the water and actually flying for periods of time. So big developments in hulls, beams, foils, and also rigs and sails. So you look at a boat from 15 years ago to a boat now, you see the two sitting on the beach, and they're just absolute poles apart, and I'm sure in 15 years' time the boats we're sailing now will look like dinosaurs as well.
So who's doing all that design and technology? Are the sailors doing it themselves, or are they coming out of production boats, or what?
Yeah, no, look, the A-class sailors and designers have really been sort of the ones that have pushed the envelope. A lot of the AC-72 developments and design philosophies actually came from the A-class, and I think the beauty about the A-class is you can trial a lot of different things very quickly and very easily and get a result because there's a lot of boats sailing. So, that's one of the beauties of the class, that it is pretty much a full development class. And I think as we keep going forwards, the rate of development is up there. And I think a lot of people around the world that sail multi-hull certainly look at the A-class as, to what the future is actually holding.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All the best.